Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive show to bring you all this morning. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. So on the show this morning, we're going to be talking about a story that's come out saying that Jadon Sancho is apparently up for sale in the January transfer window. We're going to be looking at a couple of the potential options of clubs that he could go to. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the game against Burnley tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff, obviously away at Burnley, massive game. I'll bring you all of the latest injury news, all of the, the latest bits around that. We're also going to be talking a little bit about David De Gea and apparently some backlash from the Manchester United players over the treatment of David De Gea. Lots more to get into as well. As always, do get involved in the comment section, get involved in the live chat. Let me know what you think about everything we discuss on today's show. So let's start off with the Jadon Sancho situation. So this is coming out from a couple of different newspapers in the UK this morning. And they're reporting that Manchester United are now ready to sell Jadon Sancho to the highest bidder in January. United bosses would be willing to sell him on the cheap if it meant getting him out of the club. So it looks like this relationship with Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho is completely lost, okay? He still hasn't apologised. Obviously, we all know what happened with Sancho and Erik ten Hag, so we don't need to go over old ground, but he still hasn't apologised for what he did. Obviously, he's not part of the matchday squads. He's not been training with the first team. He's been training with the under-21s. He went viral on Twitter on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. No, Wednesday. I don't know. Whenever the Manchester United game was, Wednesday. He went viral on Twitter because he was playing FIFA at the same time as when the Bayern Munich game was on. It's just not looking particularly good for him. He's refusing to apologise, and he has to go realistically. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, how much do you think is a realistic price for Jadon Sancho, all things considered? Obviously, please do remember the situation that's currently happening at the moment. I'm sure you guys won't forget about it, but please remember that when you bring your price into this, because it's all good and well you saying £80 million, but we're never going to get that. So he was bought for 85 million euros from Dortmund in 2021. So 2 years ago. I think that works out about £75 million we paid. So yeah, how does everybody feel about that? Where do you think is a realistic club for him to go? I have this funny feeling, right? Let me know what you think about this. I have this feeling that Tottenham might come in for him. I don't know why, I just have this feeling. Obviously, they've had a great start to the season. Ange Postecoglou seems to be a really, really good manager. I'm not saying Erik ten Hag isn't, but I think Ange Postecoglou, in all of his press conferences and stuff so far, seems like the kind of manager which would do really, really well with Erik ten Hag. And I just have this funny feeling. Obviously, they've got this £100 million plus from the Harry Kane deal. They never really spent that money. So I would imagine that Tottenham will have money to spend in January. Obviously, Jadon Sancho is originally from London, isn't he? I think he's from South London, but still, he's from London. I just have a feeling that that's going to happen. I don't know why. I just have this hunch. Obviously, there are other people interested. Apparently, Barcelona have expressed interest, but that is for a loan. The main issue with Jadon Sancho is his wages. As we all know, which I know some of you are really frustrated about, he is on around £350,000 per week at the moment at Manchester United. He's the highest earning player at Manchester United. That's going to be very, very difficult to get another club to come in and be willing to pay that type of money. That's the stumbling block for Manchester United, and that's why they'd have to accept such a low transfer fee probably. He's on £18.2 million per season. Crazy. So he's got 3 years left on his deal, a little bit less than 3 years actually. So we probably owe him still around 45 to 50 million pounds in wages, which is absolutely mad, isn't it? Because I don't think any other club in world football is going to pay him 350 grand a week. I don't think even Saudi Arabian clubs would pay him 350 grand a week. I think if he went to Tottenham, he'd probably be on about 150, 200. If he went to Barcelona, he'd probably be on 150, 200. That's the more realistic kind of price bracket for somebody like Jadon Sancho, around the 150 grand a week mark, which is obviously still a lot of money. I'm just having a quick look. So Tottenham's current highest earner is Heung-min Son, and he is on £192,000 per week. Just think of that, right? Son, one of Tottenham's best players, earns 160 grand less per week than what Jadon Sancho earns. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is. Let's see what people are saying. Everybody's saying he's so greedy. Everybody's saying get rid of him. People are saying so many players that need to leave the club, so many. Yeah, I agree with you. We've still got a massive amount of work to do. I think when you actually look at the spine of our team, right? Casemiro, question marks over. Rafael Varane, world class, but I think it's going to need replacing in the summer. Left back and right back, Luke Shaw keeps picking up injuries. Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, there's question marks over. Obviously, the goalkeeper, there's question marks, but it's too early to really judge. Midfield, our whole midfield is in a bit of a shambles, isn't it? We need another player to sit alongside Casemiro or to play instead of Casemiro. We probably need a new right winger. We need another striker. Like, we probably need another 5 or 6 players just to be able to compete, I think. But yeah, let me know what you think about Jadon Sancho. Where do you think is a realistic place for him to go? How much is the very minimum you would be happy to let him go for? Oh, sorry about that. I just had a little sneeze. Yeah, so let me know about Jadon Sancho. Oh, it's coming again. Gosh. Oh, God. Got the contagious sneezes. Right. Let's crack on with the rest of the show, though. Sorry about my little sneezing fit there. Let's talk a little bit about Sofyan Amrabat. And the big positive news is we are expecting Sofyan Amrabat to make his Manchester United debut against Burnley tomorrow night at Turf Moor. And you know what? This is exactly the kind of game that we need Sofyan Amrabat for. I think that we can go and beat Burnley with or without Sofyan Amrabat, but having him in that team really, I think, maximises our chances of beating them. Scott McTominay is a ghost. Eriksen's legs are gone. We need somebody next to Casemiro to really solidify that midfield. Now, I've been looking a little bit at some of the players that left our club over the summer, and Fred has been absolutely unbelievable since he left. And I'm just in a bit of shock, right, that we let Fred go for 7 or 8 million, and we've still got McTominay here, even though we had an offer of 30 million on the table. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why did they get rid of Fred to then bring in an injured Sofyan Amrabat and then to keep Scott McTominay, who there was a 30 million? It's just frustrating, isn't it? And it shows as well, like, which of these players actually have any ambition. Fred played a lot of football last season, but was still happy to move because he knew he would go off to Turkey and he'd get a lot of game time. Whereas Scott McTominay barely played any football. He had a decent offer from Fulham and he rejected it because he wanted to stay. And do what? It's just frustrating, isn't it? Simon says, if we don't win tomorrow, we're in big trouble. To be honest with you guys, I've kind of gone past the point of feeling like that. I just think, like, what are our expectations for the season? We're not going to win the league. I think top 4 is a bit of a push. We might win the League Cup or the FA Cup. Obviously, we need to win matches. I'm not sat here saying I've written off the season already, but I think I'm a little bit more, I wouldn't say chilled out, because I agree, if we don't win the game tomorrow, it's going to be absolute carnage. You know, Burnley have got 1 point so far this season. It's Burnley. Like, we have to go and beat Burnley. We need to go and embarrass them. Like, that has to happen. But if we lose, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that just shows where Manchester United are at the moment. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not going to be... I've had people messaging me saying, oh, if we lose to Burnley, you're going to be Erik ten Hag out. I've said this, guys. I'm not going to turn against Erik ten Hag. I'm not. We need to focus all of our anger, all of our frustration on the Glazers, on the CEO, on the director of football, who's not even a director of football. Those are the people who need to go before we start pointing the finger at Erik ten Hag for me. So if we lose tomorrow, we lose tomorrow. Obviously I'll be upset, I'll be annoyed, but I'm not going to be sat here saying Erik ten Hag out. So yeah, Burnley have got 1 point from their first 4 games, actually. They've only played 4 games. And they've not been very good. I watched a couple of Burnley's fixtures and they've not looked particularly decent, to be honest. But yeah, let me know what your score predictions are for that game. Are you concerned? So far, they drew with Nottingham Forest 1-1. They lost 5-2 to Tottenham, 3-1 to Aston Villa, and 3-0 to Manchester City. So they've not had a great start so far. Hendrik says, Kieran, you were proven wrong by Reguilon. He is the only signing that's shining at the moment. And you know what? I have no issue whatsoever with being proved wrong, because at the end of the day, I'm just giving opinions, and sometimes opinions, you know, prove to be wrong. And fair play to Reguilon. He's probably been our best player the last 2 games, so big ups to him. Let's see what else people are saying. Simon says, we should win, but it won't be a thrashing, not a chance in hell. Yeah. Somebody says, I hope Amrabat is an upgrade on Fred. I like Fred, chemistry with the Brazilian in Manchester United. Yeah, I've seen someone talking about this on Twitter yesterday. Do we think that maybe Fred was part of the reason why Casemiro was so good last season? Because, like, Casemiro's been an absolute ghost so far. He can't play well alongside Eriksen. He can't play well alongside McTominay. Well, the only missing piece is Fred, isn't it? He's the only player who wasn't here, who was here last year. So it is a bit of a strange one. Everybody who's just joined the chat in the last couple of minutes, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're only 20 subscribers away from 19,000. So let's hit that by the end of the video. 19K, what a massive achievement. Please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. Get involved in the community. Let's see what people are saying. Somebody says someone at the club is protecting McTominay. Simon says McTominay is lazy and garbage, but he's an academy boy and that's why we kept him. Yeah, I just don't buy into this whole thing like, oh, he's from the academy, but he's rubbish. You know what I mean? We've had so many players from the academy who we've got rid of. Like, you know, even in the summer, Zidane Iqbal, he was from the academy. Noam Emmerham, you know, all of these people that we've sold for like literally nothing. Oh, but why does it not matter when it's them? I just don't really get it. It frustrates me. It does, at the end of the day. That's the black and white of it. It frustrates me. Malp says, I've got a bad feeling about the Burnley game. Wow. 8 o'clock kickoff. It's going to be a big one. We will be doing a watch-along for it, everybody. Yeah, we'll be doing a watch-along for that game. So if anybody is around on Saturday night and wants to join us for the watch-along, please do make sure you are here for that. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show. As well, this is just a bit of a random one, but does anybody in the chat play FIFA? Is anybody playing the new FIFA? Let me know in the live chat if you are interested in that type of thing. Right, let's keep on with the conversation about the Burnley game, though. So another big bit of breaking news coming out is that Raphael Varane is expected to start the game against Burnley on Saturday night. And you know what? That is absolutely massive, massive news. So happy about that. The fact that we'll see Varane and Martinez, I cannot wait for that. And I think that should hopefully solidify our defence. Hopefully Onana has a good game. Hopefully Reguilon has a good game again. Dalot, obviously all of our defence need to step up because we've averaged 3 goals per game in the last 5 games. And it's not good enough. It really is not good enough. We need to go out to Burnley. We need to keep a clean sheet and we need to get a convincing win. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Are you happy about Raphael Varane? And also do let me know, who do you think will come out of the team? Do you think it will be Lindelof or do you think it will be Martinez? Let me know. I'm going with Lindelof. I think it will be a centre-back partnership of Martinez and Varane. And that's what worked last season. I think that's how it should be going forward. Simon says, we need Varane badly. Yes, I agree with you, my friend. I do. In relation to Mason Mount, we've got a bit of an update on him for you. Apparently, Mason Mount won't be available to start for around 2 weeks. He is back training, but he's not going to be available for the game against Burnley. And it's the same for Kobbie Mainoo. Apparently, Kobbie Mainoo is back training, but won't be available for selection for around 2 weeks. So we've got a couple of, still the injury table is looking absolutely ridiculous. Obviously we have got this new doctor, Gary O'Driscoll, who's just come over from Arsenal. He started last Monday. So hopefully he can earn his money and actually bring some of these players back to fitness. That's absolutely essential. Let's see what else people are saying. There is a little bit of an update on Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well, quickly actually. So in relation to Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, apparently they will not be back before the November international break. So neither of them will be back before then. They're going to be out for about another 2 months, which is crazy. I'm not as worried about those positions though, because I think Reguilon's been really good. I think Dalot's like okay. I don't really rate Dalot that much, but he's not awful. I think he's okay. The only issue that we might find is if Reguilon or Dalot gets injured, we're in big trouble because we've got literally 0 other options at right back or left back. I know Amrabat can apparently play at right back, but do we really want Amrabat playing at right back? I don't think so. Not for me. He can do it though if we have to. Let's see what else people are saying. Somebody says we should bench Onana and try the new goalkeeper. I don't think that will happen, but I think the thing with that, right, is Onana's reaction to his performance was how it should be. Okay, it's how a Manchester United should be. He came out, he said he wasn't good enough. He said that he's let himself down and all the rest of it. It was the opposite of like a Maguire when he puts in a poor performance and he refuses to do an interview even though he's the club captain, you know? Onana, not the club captain, demands to speak to the press after the game. Apparently as well, he went into the dressing room after the match and told all of the Manchester United players to be quiet. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. He says, Andre Onana entered the dressing room after his requested interview and apologised to Erik ten Hag, the coaching staff and his teammates. I mean, that's elite mentality, isn't it? To identify that you made a mistake, to own it, to apologise, and then to move on positively. So I've still got high expectations for Andre Onana. Let's not forget, right, he got 8 clean sheets in the Champions League last season on the run to Inter Milan's Champions League final. 8 clean sheets. That doesn't just happen by accident. So he's had a bit of a rough start to Manchester United. Yes, there are question marks about whether we should have spent all that money on him. Should we have got a midfielder? Maybe we should have got another centre-back. There are so many question marks in that front, but we have Onana. He is our player now. We're not going to sell him. So we've got to just back him. We've got to hope that it works out. And then obviously, a little bit further down the line, we can come back and review how it all went. Malp says, our bench against Bayern was just embarrassing. No disrespect to the players, but come on. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I do. But that just shows, doesn't it? And, you have to be fair there. We have 11 players from our first team missing, When you run through the people that are missing, Jadon Sancho, Anthony, who else have we got? Rafael Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Kobe Mainoo. I can't think of any more, but there's a load more than that, isn't there? I think there's 11 people in total that are missing from the team at the moment through injury. So Hendrik says, why does Ten Hag never bench Rashford? He's Marcus Rashford. He got 30 goals last season. I agree that he should be benched sometimes, but I don't know what the answer is. Is there something in his contract? I'm not sure. Somebody says he got 8 clean sheets with a better team and a better defence. United is a joke. I mean, that's a fair point. I saw a stat a couple of days ago where it showed how many shots David De Gea faced in his first 5 games of last season versus Andre Onana. David De Gea in his first 5 games, faced 10 shots. Andre Onana faced 30 shots. So we've been giving away a lot more chances, and you have to blame that on the defenders. You know, it's not Andre Onana's fault that we're giving away chances. Is that because Varane's been injured? Maybe. I mean, how long's Varane been out for? I feel like he's been out for ages. I don't remember the last time we saw Varane play. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna have a quick look when he last played football, because it feels like we've not had him all season. So he has a foot injury. Yeah, I mean, he's missed 7 games. Is that right? So he missed 7 games from April the 14th to May the 8th. And then his injury record's terrible. In last season alone, he missed 15 games. The season before that, he only missed 5. That's pretty good. Yeah, he missed 15 games last season, and he's probably already missed 5 this season. So it's not very good, is it? Somebody says, do you think if Onana makes more mistakes, he'll be benched? I don't think he will, personally, just because he's Erik Ten Hag's signing. He's, somebody he knows really well. And I think with goalkeepers, it's a very risky thing to start benching them. Obviously, Arteta's doing it at Arsenal, but he's got 2 very good goalkeepers at Arsenal. 2 goalkeepers that could easily be the first team goalkeeper. I don't really understand why Arsenal have done that, but, this isn't an Arsenal channel. Ianis says, why would we bench Rashford? Well, I guess the reason why people say, bench Rashford is because he doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't, he's selfish. He shoots every time he gets the ball, all of the rest of those things. But he's the only player in that front line that actually creates chances out of nowhere. If he scores a goal from shooting outside the box against Burnley on Saturday, we're all going to be cheering, aren't we? And saying, oh, great, Rashford's back. So it's one of those ones where he did get 30 goals last season. So he has kind of justified what he does. And I would expect that he's being told by Erik Ten Hag to do that, because there's no way on earth, right, against Brighton, he had 11 shots, 1 of them on target. Like, there's no way you'd do that if your manager hadn't told you to be shooting from outside the box every time you get the ball. Comeback King says we should play McTominay at centre-back. I mean, it is a possibility. Obviously, he did play there for Scotland. Obviously, there's also the possibility of Casemiro playing at centre-back. If anybody is unaware, he has played at centre-back for Brazil before. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. I would rather not see Casemiro or McTominay at centre-back if we can avoid it. But obviously, it's good to know we have those as options if worse comes to worst. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show, though. Map says, why so many injuries at the start of the season? What's going on? You expect this amount of injuries during the season? I don't know, to be honest, mate. I think a lot of people are saying it's maybe to do with the, obviously, all the games we played last year. We played the most games out of any team in Europe. Then you had, obviously, internationals in the summer. And then we went straight off to America and did like 6 or 7 pre-season matches. So these players have played a lot of football and not had very much time to rest. A lot of them are muscle injuries, which are usually because of overstraining muscles. That's what a muscle injury usually will, happen for. But I don't know the answer to that. A lot of teams have injuries, though. Look at Chelsea's injuries. Half their team's missing as well. So it can't be a coincidence. I think it's a mixture of too many matches, not enough break over the summer, and then ridiculous tours of America and all of these, big commercial tours that have pretty much wiped our team out at the beginning of the season. That would be my guess. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but looking at it from a fan's perspective, I would say that was the reason. We know that Erik Ten Hag doesn't like these big commercial tours of America. You know that he would much rather be at Carrington just training every day over the summer. But Manchester United, being the commercial beast we are, the first priority for the Glazers, for the CEO at the moment, send them off to America, play as many football matches as you can all over America, lots of travelling, lots of jet lag, bring them back, and then a week later you start the Premier League. That's ultimately what's happened. And is it really a surprise that all our players are dropping like flies? Yeah, especially when you think as well, right? We just had an international break and they all played like 3 or 4 matches in the space of 2 weeks, Like, it's ridiculous. And we saw Rafael Varane come and, he called out the FA and all of the other footballing bodies saying that, players are being overplayed. They're not getting enough breaks. This is why the injuries are happening. So I think that's why it is. But obviously, yeah, and as somebody says in the comment section, we had a World Cup last season in the middle of the season. It's ridiculous. Some of our players played 70 or 80 matches last season. No wonder they're injured. They had like a month off for holiday. Some of them were still training when they were on holiday, like Pellistri. They come back, they go off to America, play 4 or 5 games in America, another 3 or 4 games back in England, you know, and then literally a week later they start the Premier League. It's ridiculous, it is. But yeah. We have got the press conference as well at, I think it's 1:30 p.m. UK time, so we will be doing a live reaction to the press conference. And everybody who's just joined, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe. We're 19 subscribers away from 19,000. I would really like to hit that by the end of the video, so please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. And we're going to talk a little bit about David De Gea now, because I can see someone in the comment section reminding me to talk about it. So let's talk about that. Do let me know in the comment section as well. Do you think it was a mistake to get rid of David De Gea? Let me know what your thoughts are, and we will now touch on this story. Yeah, let me know. Are you upset that David De Gea went? Do you think it was the correct decision? Right. Sorry there, I muted the microphone and I forgot to turn it back on. Right, so the David De Gea situation is this. Apparently the players at Manchester United are disappointed with how the handling of the David De Gea situation went down, and but does that mean that they didn't want him to go? I don't really get the story. I'm a little bit confused by it. Let me know what you guys think. Would you have preferred David De Gea to stay? I'll be honest, I wasn't in the David De Gea out camp. I thought David De Gea has been a loyal servant for Manchester United. Yes, he made a couple of mistakes last year. Yes, he's not, you know, an Edison or an Alisson at playing out from the back. But overall, I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. And yeah, people will come at me in the comment section and say, oh, well, why has he not got a club then? The reason David De Gea doesn't have a club at the moment is because of how much money he's asking in wages. Apparently, he's asking for 250 grand a week, which is ridiculous for a goalkeeper. He's definitely not worth that. When you look at someone like Alisson at Liverpool, right? Or Edison. Alisson at Liverpool, I think Edison's on about 800 grand a year, whereas David De Gea was on 300. Alisson at Liverpool's on 150, and David De Gea is asking for 250 grand now. Like, no one's going to pay that to him, I don't think. Let's see what people are saying. Chris says no, his contract was over, so we did not re-sign him for good reasons, saving wages and changing the style. Fair enough. CRG says Onana would do well. He just needs to get used to playing with these current players. I agree, mate. I think we've got to give Onana some time. I do. He's obviously been terrible the first 5 games, but the thing you have to remember with Andre Onana is, right, he came out and he owned that mistake. He said that his start at Manchester United was not good enough. He said that his performance against Bayern Munich was one of his worst performances ever. I know that doesn't really mean anything for us because we're here to win matches. You know, we want our players to do well, but we've got to back him. We've got to get behind him, and we've got to just hope that he does come good. That's what he was saying. Somebody says it's a big mistake. Is he coming back? I don't think David De Gea is going to come back, to be honest with you. I would be very, very surprised if David De Gea came back to Manchester United. He still is a free agent. Nobody's taken him, but I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the David De Gea situation. Are you upset he left? Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to read out a couple of your questions before the show ends. So do get your questions in the comment section, and I will read some out quickly. Somebody says David De Gea should go to Munich, actually, but the salary situation ends the negotiation. Exactly, that's the issue for David De Gea. He's asking for too much money. I said in the summer, if he was willing to take a pay cut, I would happily keep him for another year. But that was the issue. Manchester United probably didn't want to give him his 350 grand a year contract again, because it was ridiculous amounts of money for somebody. Yeah, sorry, he was on 375 grand a week. Ridiculous amounts of money for somebody who did have a good season in the shot stopping department, but he did make a couple of mistakes and isn't really the kind of goalkeeper that Erik ten Hag actually wants. So when you compare Alisson, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, on 150, and then David De Gea on 375, it kind of just sums it up for me, doesn't it? Jim says, I didn't want to get rid of David De Gea, but Onana is our keeper now. We need to get over it. Exactly, we do. And I think the players need to get over it as well. Like, for this story to be leaking out of the dressing room this morning saying the players are really upset about how he was treated, I just think it's a little bit embarrassing, to be honest. Like, you're there to win football matches. It's not your job to be getting involved about, you're upset about David De Gea. Well, I mean, we're upset that you've played rubbish football all season, you know? Just go out there, get on with it. Yeah. But let's see what else people are saying. Kaiser says, I would have him back in a heartbeat. Fair enough. David says, United handled David De Gea matter badly, but there is no point in talking about it now. Yeah, fair enough. Jigsman says, David De Gea was horrible in his first season under Sir Alex Ferguson. Let's not forget, against teams like Stoke, etc. I do agree with you, Jigsman, and I've seen quite a lot of people saying that about David De Gea versus Onana on Twitter, saying, you know, David De Gea was equally as bad in his first season. The only thing I will say to that, right, I'm not trying to back up David De Gea, I'm just giving my opinion, is that David De Gea was 19 years of age. He was very underdeveloped. He was very scrawny. He was a teenager coming over to England from Athletica, from Madrid for the first time, okay? Onana's 27. He's in his prime. These are his best years. So you don't really have any excuse to make those types of mistakes. But what I will say is this. Onana knows that. Onana's come out and owned those mistakes. So he's earned a massive amount of respect for me. I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. If he'd have come out and done the Harry Maguire and said, I don't need to prove myself, you know, pretty much give the fans a middle finger, I would have said, you know, get rid of this guy. I don't like his attitude. But he's not. He's come out. He's owned it. He's gone into that dressing room after the match. He's apologised to everybody. He's really, really taken it personally, and he can only get better from here. Ricardo says, if you take Casemiro, Bruno, Lindelof, Martinez, and Varane's best friend, you'll lose the dressing room. In case you're performing, why Casemiro and co are underperforming. Okay. Suju says, Onana will come good. Jamie says, EAFC is quality. I've been playing it last night since launch. Yeah, I am going to get it today, and I am going to be making I did ask you guys' opinions on this, and everybody said to make a separate channel, but I will be making a separate channel for FIFA content. So anybody who wants to get involved in that, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, I'll be putting a link on the community tab of the website later on today. I'll be putting up the first video, hopefully at some point this afternoon. Yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, if anybody's interested in that type of thing, do let me know in the live chat in the comment section. I will share a link with you all a bit later on to get involved with. I'm going to wrap the video up here though, guys. We will be back at lunchtime, obviously, for the Erik ten Hag press conference. It's a 1:30 p.m. press conference, so I will go live for that. And then obviously we'll be live this evening as well. If anything breaks during the day, I do always go live, as you know. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. As I said, we're literally on the brink of hitting 19k, so please do go and subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I will catch you all later. And yeah, I'll be back later on with that FIFA link for anybody who wants to get involved in that. I'll put it in the community section. Catch you guys all later. Thank you so much for joining me. Nice one.